Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're gonna take a look at some orchids that are just not having it. They're just not happy with me for whatever reason. It's not that. It's just the weak ones. When you have a big collection of orchids, at some point you will discover there will be some particular hybrids or some particular individuals that are simply not what they're supposed to be. They are just not performing, and today I'm going to show you a few of them, and I would like you guys to let me know in the comment section if you have those particular hybrids or orchids that I'm going to show you, if they do the same for you, or is it just me? Maybe I got unlucky with some individuals, or maybe I'm doing something wrong, although I don't think so, because I'm going to show you orchids which are not, mastovalias, that they're not gonna do well in my hot environment. No, I'm gonna show you cattleyas, I'm gonna show you Phalaenopsis, things that should do great in my environment. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy today's video, and before we start, don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it. Maybe you learned something new, and hey, why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week and it's completely free, but if you're feeling the little extra and you can and you wish to further support the channel, do consider either becoming a member and getting access to some behind the scenes or exclusive content. You can also use the affiliate links that I have down below in the description. You can also check out the merch. Currently, we have a puzzle in addition to the mugs as well, and I love it. I love doing puzzles and I really enjoyed doing that. And of course, you can also use the super thanks option down below my videos, and I thank you very, very much if you choose to do one of these options. I really appreciate it. Right, let's get to work. Now this is not one of the finicky ones, as we can tell. She's a good girl. Look at the beautiful blooms. This is Phalaenopsis Lil Zorro, and I wanted to show it off a little because on the screen you will always see a different name for this orchid because of the stupid autocorrect. It's always Lil Zara, Lil, I don't know, whatever. It's Little Zorro. I'm gonna do my best to write it correctly, but just so you know, whenever you see this orchid in my videos, it's always a different name. It's not my fault. I just cannot deactivate autocorrect from my editing software. Right, she's a good one. But now let me show you some Phalaenopsis that are not all that good. First off, this orchid that I showed you in a different video, before we get to the orchid, what the heck is this? I got this because I thought, maybe it's gonna, not promote algae. Okay, it's from Ikea, by the way. Why do we feel the need to engrave the volume of the pot? 0.5 liters. What a beautiful piece of decoration we put on this pot, Ikea. Can we just leave it simple? That'd be great. Design choices that just don't make sense. Right, this orchid. I have a lot of dates on the tag. The first recording of it is in 2021, June. And this is what I have to show for. This is Phalaenopsis philippinensis crossed with fuscata. This is a beautiful orchid in bloom, if I remember correctly. I need to Google it. I completely forget how it looks like. I've never seen it in bloom, like in front of my eyes. I don't believe so. I only saw it on the internet. This is one of the weakest, let's say, Phalaenopsis that I have. Every time a little bit of root growth happens, it kind of withers off. Also, the leaves, they kind of wither off as well. They don't look the happiest, they don't look the healthiest. They start off great, but then something just happens and this orchid is always, always, always weak. It's been 3 years now. I'm not giving up though. I always try to do things a little bit different. So I tried it in different pots. I tried it in full sphagnum moss. Now I'm trying it in a combination of bark and moss in a well-ventilated pot. Maybe this will suit it better. I don't know, but it could also be that this particular hybrid or this individual is simply not that vigorous, or worst case scenario, it has a virus, which I hope it doesn't. But it has been this way ever since I purchased it. I cannot get it to have that massive root system that all of the other, well, with a few exceptions, the vast majority of my other Phalaenopsis usually put out. I honestly at this point suspect it's seedling, not a Mary clone, because we typically tend to clone vigorous hybrids. But yeah, this is one of those that simply doesn't perform in my care. Do you have it? Does it do well for you? Let me know what your experience is with this one. But wait, I have a few more Phalaenopsis that are just not having my face. Say hello to what looks to be the sweetest little Phalaenopsis. If I'm honest, look how pretty she is. This is Phalaenopsis Miki Moon Rabbit. Now I purchased this last year and she did arrive in quite a poor state. So maybe that has something to do with it. But if you know Phalaenopsis, you know they can be quite vigorous and they can grow quite fast. Like, just think about the keikis. I have a keiki on one that formed last year and it reached a size where it actually bloomed this year. Theoretically, Phalaenopsis should actually be vigorous, should grow very fast. Not this one. Well, we have roots, as we can see. It's not a question of inadequate environment, inadequate potting mix, inadequate something. It's just... Yep, she doesn't want to. Now, the leaves should have been bigger than this. This is not a miniature. I mean, it is a tiny orchid, but it's not that tiny. In pictures, at least, it doesn't look this tiny. But as you can see, all of the leaves are just not growing for whatever reason. Now, we'll see how it behaves this year. I only have it for 1 year, but I'm curious to know if any of you guys have this orchid, if you purchased it maybe last year from Secret Garden. Does it look like this to you? I'll give it. It's sweet. It's pretty. It's very tiny. It's like an orchid to my own taste. Tiny, compact, beautiful, but no flowers because it's too tiny. I would love to get flowers from this orchid because the flowers are beautiful. They're yellow and red, I think, if memory serves me right. But yeah, this is another one of those orchids that simply doesn't excel. We'll see how it is this year. But I thought I would show it to you just to, you know, get some answers. Maybe you already have this one and it does the same for you. But I'm not done with Phalaenopsis. Oh no. There is one more. Ta-da! Again, isn't she pretty? Tiny, compact. Well, it shouldn't be like this. And when I received it, it did not look like this. It was a pretty fully grown orchid. It was a medium-sized orchid. This is Phalaenopsis J-Ho Summer Love, and I actually received this orchid, so that's another reason why I feel a little bad for it. So right after I received it, it kind of declined. I think this is a keiki of the original orchid, or it's the top, and this is what I was able to save, and there's another basil keiki below it. Can we see that, yes, it is growing, but the leaves and everything, they're just tiny and like undeveloped in a way. Yes, it produced flowers, which are just gorgeous. They're to die for. I love this orchid so much and I would love it to do good, but I don't know what happened in my care. This is a little bit of thrip damage. We got rid of thrips. There are no more thrips on my orchids. I don't see anything bad, anything that would damage the crown or suppress growth in any way. I will repot this orchid because the roots, again, they're those type of roots that kind of grow but then they stop. I kind of do want to repot it. It's been potted here for 2 years now, a little over 2 years, so it's time. It's a good thing to repot. In the meantime, I did actually repot it and I was pleasantly surprised to discover that we do have quite a decent root system. You can see the top roots simply did not develop, but the bottom roots, which were in the sphagnum moss, they did grow, although not to their full potential, but at least we have enough roots to maintain growth for this orchid. It looks gorgeous like this, but I know it's not how it's supposed to look like. Again, do you have this orchid? It's from Orchids Deluxe. They have the most beautiful, like, Phalaenopsis hybrids. I don't know how they do it. And this one, the form of it, the color, the contrast is perfect. If I would, like, have the word perfection in my mind, this is one of the pictures that would pop in my mind. It's perfection, the flower. I love it. It's mildly fragrant as well. It's a little bit sour, fruity. It's nice. Don't expect much. It's something there. So, gosh, look at it. Look at it. I want this orchid to do well. I don't mind if it stays small, but I know it can do more. And I'm not sure if it's me, if it's just some bad luck, if it's how this hybrid is. Maybe I need to baby it a little more. I will, again, try the more airy approach. Maybe there's something going on with that, although the rest, the 100 phals, are okay. So these have been the 3 Phalaenopsis orchids that are just not doing much for me, or they're just slow, you know? Now let me show you a Phalaenopsis hybrid that historically never excelled. Now, this sickly looking thing here is an Ascocentrum. No. Well, I guess it is. It's Ascocentrum miniatum crossed with Doritis pulcherrima. Doritis is now Phalaenopsis, so if you put the two, is Ascocentrum. Although Ascocentrum now, it might be Vanda. So it's Vandopsis? I have no idea. This reclassification is ridiculous sometimes. Anyway, it's an unfortunate cross. The flowers are beautiful. It has that combination of white and yellowish orange that I adore. I really like this contrast. I typically like white with anything, but the yellow and white contrast does something for me. I don't know. And orange and white. Beautiful. And also light pink and white. Okay, I digress. This is not doing well. Again, I will repot it. Maybe I should treat it a little more like a Vanda, although I have Vandas and ones. So I don't know what treating it like a Vanda can mean. But I'm gonna try to put it maybe in something airier. Although, again, historically, this orchid has never done well for me. This is not my first one. I had others in the past, I think one more or two more, that just withered off at some point, exactly like this one. Do we see? And by the way, yeah, we have a lot of anthocyanin, but it's from the grow light. I don't keep this in direct sunshine or anything. So she's not getting scorched, she's not getting overheated, she's getting dehydrated because probably the roots inside the pot are no longer with us. So I need to repot it, need to try to find a way maybe to pot these aerial roots because I can't be spraying it every single day. But yeah, historically, this one doesn't do good for me. Let me know if you have this one, if it does good for you. I had one rebloom at some point, but it was pretty weak. I don't even think I included it in the orchids in bloom because it just didn't look good. But this one does not do good for me, and I don't know why. And I love it so much. I want it to look nice, but it's just not working out for me. Okay, let's move on to, I don't know, maybe a Cattleya. Yeah, a Cattleya. All right, here's the Cattleya that I wanted a lot. A lot. I had one in the past and it fizzled out, it withered off. I have another one now and it's not doing good things. I have a division of this one here and it's not doing good things. And I have a suspicion we have a virus. I'll tell you why later. This is RLC Hey Song Flame Dance. It's that beautiful Picatee brush strokes Cattleya. It's divine, it looks beautiful, but it's just not strong. And I've had a growth just, do we see? It kind of just withered off here. It's not an issue of calcium, okay? It's not that. It's the only orchid that does this. Look at this. Also, look on the back of this leaf, and well on the front as well. This is not good. This pattern with this darkening, this screams Cymbidium mosaic. Now, I don't have a test, but I have been lucky like 10 years ago, 11 years ago to actually receive some orchid tests or plant tests from Agdia that I used for my orchids, and I did test some positive ones. So I kind of know how a virused orchid behaves and how it looks. I don't have the test now, and it's like close to impossible for me to obtain them again. I did try to reach out to Agdia again, but my contact there probably is no longer working there. So it's close to impossible to import them as well for me, so I can't tell you for sure that this is virused, but to me it looks virused. Roots, they don't perform. I have roots that grow and then they stop growing. I have growths that simply just don't do it. This is a division of this same orchid. I kept it for my mom, but I'm not gonna send it to her because look, again, looks bad. The new growth is already getting that darkening. The roots are not vigorous, although there are some roots that are growing here. I'm so torn with this orchid. I am torn because I just don't want to occupy the space. I'm gonna have like the future grow room that I'm gonna have is gonna be a fraction of this one actually, which you know what is good. It's gonna be easier to maintain. I now struggle to keep this room clean with all of the things that I need to do, and it bothers me so much, but physically I can't anymore. So it's not a bad thing that I'm gonna have a smaller room to attend to. It's good, but it also means that I need to be more careful with my space and what orchids I keep. I don't know if I want to keep this one. I really don't know because it's a large orchid. If the new growth that is growing now probably does the same things, she's just gonna get tossed because I'm almost convinced this is a virus. It looks suspicious. And I got it last year, yeah. So it's not you know, it doesn't look like it's like a fungal infection or anything of the sorts. It behaves weak, it behaves suspicious. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's just such a beautiful orchid. I'm tempted to keep it maybe, like, I don't know, somewhere. But I don't know. I'm pretty gutted about this one because it's beautiful, but this is very, very suspicious behavior for me. Next up, this is a very new one, and I received it. This is a back bulb, or a bulb of the wonderful Grace Dunn, or Signotus, I am not sure, Catasetum type, Grace Dunn Chadsford. This one was sent by Maya, and I'm so happy. I've been looking for this one for such a long time. And it's okay if it's leafless and everything. These orchids are deciduous, they take a dormancy, it's fine. My concern is that it didn't wake up yet. And I do have eyes. I see them. I have an eye here and an eye here, but it's not waking up. Now I kept it like this on the dry bed of sphagnum moss, and it did nothing. And I have a hypothesis. If I'm not mistaken, Maya told me she ordered these from Floralia in Brazil. Now, where is Brazil on the map? Opposite to my hemisphere. It's in the southern hemisphere, and I live in the northern hemisphere. And I think this one is not seasoned just yet to my hemisphere. I think it's the first year in this hemisphere, so maybe it did its growth in our winter, you know, and now it is just dormant. That's the thing with catasetums. They don't need to be cold in their dormancy. They can be warm. But what I suspect is happening, I hope, because this is easy to fix. What I suspect is happening is that it's not seasoned because it's coming from Brazil. Isn't that cute, right? So I was thinking, should I let it be? The good thing is that my summers are long. Like, they can extend all the way to October, November. And if we think that December is quite warm as well, maybe even December. So definitely if it wakes up late, I'm good. I have a very long summer for its growth, and my winters are typically mild as well. I can keep it in the house, she can grow. But there's a part of me that is so worried that there's something wrong. And I am considering, I don't know if it's a good idea, I'm considering just misting a little bit the atmosphere to give it a little bit of, you know, a little bit of a vibe that, humidity in the air. Maybe it's time to wake up. Maybe. I'm tempted to just spray a little bit, just a little bit of humidity around the rhizome. Maybe it's gonna wake it up. I don't want to rot anything. That's another thing. It's tricky with these catasetums if they sit in water, but now it's kind of hot. So the water that I will spray will evaporate in 5 minutes. You know, maybe. It worked for the habanarias, actually. I woke a quorum by just soaking it in water, which again is very tricky, and it's very, very risky to rot it. But it worked. It's awakened. Maybe I can do the same with this one. But I do believe this one is just a case of not being seasoned. This will be addressed by itself in time. It will take a few seasons, a few years for this one to adjust to the new hemisphere. But I think that's what's going on with this one. I think she's okay. It's just, you know, a little bit scary because I really, really, really want this orchid. Right. So I'm gonna let it be on the dry bed of sphagnum moss. She's residing in one of my detolf shelves, but I think I'm gonna mist it really lightly. See what happens. Like, really lightly. Should I mist it? I'm gonna think about it. I'll see what I'll do. I need to sleep on it. Alrighty, next up, some bad news from the kitties. These are the Cattleya seedlings that I'm growing. Vast majority of them are growing beautifully, except these two. And I don't know exactly why, and I don't know if I can save. I have a plan. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do it probably off camera, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So first off, this is BC Philippe Hage. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing these. I'm tempted to say Hage, but probably it's not the case. Cross with Cattleya leopoldi Schokoladenprinz. Oh, I love the name, the chocolate prince. Please do well for me. It's very dehydrated, very, very dehydrated. There are two growths here that are trying to grow. I'm gonna give you a close-up, and they just dried up. I don't have good roots. It's getting super dehydrated. It's concerning. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a different setup for it, which I'm gonna show. I'm gonna do the same thing for this one. This one, again, I really wanted. This is Cattleya maxima, Chadwick's dark Again, beautiful, beautiful orchid. It's trying to put out new growth here, but it's just so frail. The roots are not vigorous, and it's so bizarre because it does have bigger growth, right? So I'm not sure what's going on with these two. We're trying to put out growth, but it's very, 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 very weak. So I need to intervene. I need to help them out a little bit. So what I got, let me bring it here. All right, so what I got are frappe glasses. What I'm gonna do is put some sphagnum moss on the bottom of this. I'm gonna put a scotch tape on the top. On the top it has a hole. I couldn't find the ones that have, you know, like the cross section. That's not how it's called. It's a cross here, and you insert the straw. No, these ones are the holy ones. So I'm gonna put it on top. Just put scotch tape and maybe a few very tiny holes in the scotch tape and maintain it in a humidity chamber like this. What this will do is delay transpiration or conserve water in the orchid. It's not gonna produce miracles. It's just a little help. So I plan to put these orchids in something like this, and we'll see how it goes because they get me really concerned. I really wanted these guys, and I don't know why they're so weak compared to their other cousins. Let's put them like that. The other guys, those guys have taken off. They're growing like there's no tomorrow. I'm so proud of the kitties, but these two simply do not want to behave, and I'm so sad because I love them so much, but I'm gonna give them another chance. This setback will cost me 2 years, 3 years. These were already like 3-4 years from blooming. Add another 2 or 3. And in the video that I showed you with the kitties, or that I made, I told you, yes, they're very cheap, like 6 euros. 6 euros, very cheap for such beautiful orchids. But you gotta be patient. They will test your patience. And if the universe decides they will also be set back, add 2-3 years to each setback. It's gonna test you. It's such a joy to watch them grow, but be aware, Cattleya seedlings, they can get set back, and that's just gonna delay everything. But hey, it's interesting. It's something to do. And then, like, when I'm gonna be gray and old, I'm gonna have my first bloom from the Cattleya Maxima Chadwicks, and I'm gonna make a video saying, do you guys remember 30 years ago I made a video about this orchid? Well, finally it's in bloom. Yay! Yeah, I hope it's not gonna take that long, but I'm expecting it. And lastly, an orchid that I forgot, it's another Phalaenopsis. It's not this one, but this is the closest thing that I still have. It's the mini mark, you guys. It happens all the time. The mini mark does well for like a number of years, and then something just clicks and it withers off. Like the crown somehow gets damaged by itself. There's no more blooms. There are some attempts of flower spikes, but like from the big flower spikes we're used to, you get a tiny, tiny little frail one, and then the whole orchid kind of just melts away. My mini mark melted away. I didn't have the AC like leaking on it or anything. I didn't have crown rot, I didn't have stem rot, nothing of the sorts. It's just everything becomes weak. Roots become weak, leaves become weak, the crown, the new leaves that grow, they grow a little bit, they're tiny, and then they dry off. Stuff like that. I lost my mini mark for like a 5th time, 4th time. How many mini marks did I have? I think I'm gonna stop buying it. It happens all the time. And I remember when I mentioned it in one video, many of you guys said the same thing, that you had the same experience. So it might be that that particular hybrid has a little issue. I hope not. Tell me again if you have a different experience with it, or you've noticed the same thing. It's just not vigorous. It does well for a little while and then goes down the drain. This is something else. I'm hoping it's gonna do good. The start ain't good, let me tell you. This is a mini mark crossed with Ludemaniana. I'm hoping the Ludemaniana will talk some sense into it, like the genes will be like, hey, I'm the boss around here, you gotta grow. I'm hoping that's the case. But what I have here is the original plant, this, with a crown that's simply, withered off. I'm gonna give you a close-up to see what I mean. There's a tiny little leaf there in the crown that now it's dry. It's exactly what the mini mark does. So what I have here, what bloomed this year, is this little basil keiki, which outgrew the original plant. And I got this one last year. So it grows fast, it is vigorous, this particular one. But this little antic, That's a mini marcantic. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. So I'm hoping this hybrid, I think it has a little bit of something. I don't know, it's not that fragrant. I never had a fragrant mini mark. So I'm hoping this hybrid is different. But oh boy, the mini mark is stressful. And it's one of my favorites because it has that white and orange contrast. This one has white and purple, which is still great. It has an orange vibe to it, but it's more purple. I still love it. It's just that it's not that vigorous. Given this one looks to be a little bit more vigorous than the mini mark. But who knows? Who knows? I'm a little concerned. But just so you know, the mini mark has not been a good boy for me, so I think I will stop buying it and I'll try to enjoy this one. So that has been it for today. We're gonna end the video with an exciting orchid, one that is doing well. I purchased this one last year and look at it. This is Phalaenopsis, BLC Cattleya type Durigan Poseidon. It's supposed to be very spotty and very nice, and the buds are just about to crack open. I'm so excited. So I got it last year in one of the orchid haul watches. I think it had a new growth started and this is how it ended up. Yeah, transport, getting used to my environment, you know, I'll give it its grace. It's fine. This suitable is wanky, but it's fine. But look at the next one. Look at this, the most beautiful, luscious pseudobulb I have ever seen. You're beautiful. This is what I'm expecting when I say Cattleyas should do good for me. Phalaenopsis should do good for me. This environment helps me a lot. So I'm suspecting the orchids that I showed you today, they have some issues. Whether it's like the entire batch, or maybe the hybrid itself, or maybe it's just my individuals. I don't know. I don't know if I will ever know. But it happens. This is orchid growing. Some orchids will just not do okay. And the more you have, obviously, the more of these orchids you'll find. I have a few hundreds, so I will find a few that don't do well. But I will always console myself with these types of orchids that are just growing without me having to do much. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope I've enjoyed hanging out with me today, and I hope, you know, you had a little bit of fun. So with that said, I wish you all a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!